everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. So I'm pre-recording some videos. So while I am in New Orleans at Backstage, you will still have some stuff to keep you occupied. So you won't even miss me. You won't even be able to tell the difference that I wasn't here. The only thing that I will miss is that my husband is going with me. So I'll miss my girlfriends because none of them were able to make it on this trip. So it's the second time my husband's gone when my girlfriends haven't been able to go. So it makes it a different kind of trip. But the other thing is every time I go away for a Stampin' Up! Event, I clean off my table and he repaints it because, you know, if you follow me, I don't care if I stamp on my table because I know he's going to paint it. And until the pandemic, it got painted fairly often. It's a little bit less now. And then our next event is in Indy, so I won't be leaving for that one either. Although I won't be here, so I may be able to get him to paint it. If you are coming to Indianapolis and you're a demonstrator and you'll be here for on stage, make sure you go to my website. We are having an event on the Friday before, and registration for the early bird is coming up on a close on that. It'll be open for longer. It's going to be at the Indiana Historical Society, stamping, chatting, swapping, just hanging around. You can go see the festival trees, whatever you want to do, but that information is there. Then another thing that is not going to get done before I go on the trip is I don't have a preview video for my card club for September. You have to sign up by September 10th. It will be the very first thing I do when I get back. I know the stamp set I'm using, but I haven't figured out the rest of the pieces. So if you're interested in my card club, this was August card club. So that one is over. And by the time this video goes up, the girls will all have it. So if you are interested in my card club, go look at that. It's an online card club, and it comes to you every month as a subscription service. If you are in card club, this is an alternate project for one of your August things, and this video is up. But also, while I have this here, celebration is ending, and by the time this video goes up, we'll just have a couple of days left. It ends the end of August. So if you go to my website, you can see all of the original offerings and then all of the new ones that became available in August. So, and the Aspen tree dies are one of them, and they're my top pick for the second release of them. But both of these videos are up and can explain it. And then the other thing that will be almost over by the time I get back is registration to my online retreat. So that kind of goes with today's card as well. For my online retreat, it takes place in September. You don't have to be there on that day because you'll always have access to the videos. They just post over the course of a weekend. We're doing 9 projects. These are the 3 bundles that I am using. You can substitute something that's similar. All you need is for it to be a similar style. Or you can just do the videos. You can there's 4 different ways you can participate. 1 is free if you're on my team. And if you still sign up in August, then you get some free stuff from Stampin' Up! As well as part of Celebration. But the sets I chose are part of a September promotion that's called Perfect Partners. And that's the stamp set I'm using today. It also has dies. So right now, all of these sets are only stamp sets. In September, they will have a limited edition through the end of September or while supplies last, dies that you can buy. So there's Trimming the Tree, Waterfall Canyon, and Apple Harvest. There's a couple of others, and then today's set as well. But retreat's going to be a ton of fun. So head to my website and you can see that. So for today's card, I'm using this Birthday Piggy. It's so cute. I hadn't really looked at it because, you know, when the new catalog comes out, you can only get so many stamp sets, which for me is a lot. But I hadn't gotten this one. Look, it says, enjoy the ride, and it says we for the little guy on the moped. This little piggy says happy birthday with a little cake. And then this is the one I'm using today. Go to your happy place and stay there all day. So I just love that. And then, so right now, if you're in the catalog, only this. I've confused some of you with my videos because you're like, I can't find the dies. You'll find them in September. Unless you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order them now. But then you will be able to add these dies. So these are the ones I'm not using on today's card. It has some confetti. I don't know what this is. I should have run it through. I really wanted to put the little handkerchief on, but she was in the mud. It's really better for the one on the moped to make her a little Italian piggy. And it's got a bow, some stuff that cut things out, some wheels, and a handle for the cart, which is a funny story because in my mind, sometimes I design cards in bed without the stuff in front of me. And that was what I did on this one. I thought it came with a fence, but it didn't. It came with it comes with a cart. So I had to adapt it. So let's get going. The really fun thing about today's card, and I love when I do these, is it takes one sheet of white cardstock. So I'm going to show you how I cut it. You cut it in half, and then you take this half and cut those in half. And that's all you need supply-wise for paper and stuff for this. So how easy is that? So we're going to use a false front and then a card. And there's a couple of reasons why we're using a false front. So go ahead and fold this in half. We're going to do one part of our stamping now. This is another one. All the cards I've done recently seem to not have an order. So I just need the words. So go to your happy place and stay all day. And then we'll put our Piggy on after we've cut the rest out. But I just want to be able to cut this out while I do the... Now we can cut this out with the banner. This set does come with the banner. So I will show you a couple of things. You don't need to watch me do all of it. First thing you're going to want to do is to make our window for the card. So in my head, she was going to have more fencing, but she doesn't have any fencing in this set. So I was determined because I saw the card in my head and I wanted to make it. So I made it work with what we have. So you're going to take your false front and just line it right up here on top of your card. And then this is one of our new dies. It's from Shapes. I don't know. It's Stitch Shapes. It's not Stitch Shapes because we've had those before. It's the new ones. And the link for what it is will be down below the video. Maybe. I'll be on vacation when this posts. So hopefully it will be there. If it's not, then you can ask me or you can go to the website and just search dies. So I'm going to run this through it both. It will cut both out at one time. You do need to fold your card. Well, you don't have to fold your card in half, but it does give you a better idea of where you're lining this up. So you can see it cut both of those out at once. And then let's go over here and get all the rest of these. So we have some grass. I'm going to put it here. And then I'm just going to let it cut the bottom of that out. I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger than I made my other one. And then here's the cards. That is not a fence. And then we have some flowers. We have the little banner. We have a bird and this. So I'll cut those out. Grass all the way to the edge because it's about the size of a card front. So I'm going to pull the grass off here. All you have to do, and I put it on upside down. So there you go. That's why my other one's thin too. Okay, there's a right side up and a right side down. And both times I have guessed the wrong way. So I'm going to do exactly what I did before. And I'm just going to I don't want it to be a straight line and it makes it easy to cut. But this one I can do a little bit bigger. I left myself a little bit more room. So there's the grass. So you may have to snip it out. And I guess it's one of those tricky ones. It's hard to tell if it's right side up or upside down. So let's throw all these in here. We're gonna take this and you can see it cut fine. And so here's what we're gonna do. You have two of these. You only need one for this card. And you do need this because we're gonna color with blends. And you don't have to color with blends. You could color with anything that you want. But you know, when you color with blends, the back it goes through. And because we are stamping, because we're having our pig, I can't think of the word, be on the inside of the card, it would bleed through. So we're going to stamp on this and then we're going to put it back in here. And then the back of our card won't have blood through. And you have two. You don't need this one. But if something happens and you stamp poorly on both sides of this, you have a spare. Otherwise, keep it for another project. So let's get our pig. And she goes just kind of down there. And then I did add the little tiny butterfly that comes in the set. So just have that flying up there. And then that's all the stamping because we've already done our words. So white cardstock and then just some blends. And here's how I chose the colors of blends. I looked at what embellishments I wanted to use and I went with the Glossy Dots assortment. So this is how I based my colors. Makes it super easy and you don't have to think about it. So let's get all these pieces here. Now we have the wagon. I don't want the wagon. I want fence because the card was designed and it had a much longer fence in my head because I thought this was a piece of fence. But that's okay because I know sometimes people want to go see all of the dies and what like the artist intended, but sometimes it's better because if you don't see what the artist intended, I think you are open to more possibilities, because sometimes demonstrators will use something and will be like, oh, I thought it was this. And then you realize it can be both. And if you lock yourself into this is what the artist wanted, then that's what you have. But if you just snap off your wheels and snap off the handle, then you can make this a little fence. So now we just need to color all of this. So let's start with the greens. We'll just kind of go through colors. So, and there isn't a green of the classic matte dots. So this is Parakeet and Granny Apple. It really doesn't matter. You can use, I just wanted bright and cheery. So let's do these. Start with the coloring on this is really fast. And that's the nice thing about using the blends, is that I can just use this white cardstock and we'll be good. So add your green, and I don't want to add it everywhere. I want to have that little bit of variation of shading. Now there's an off chance that some of it might show through the other side of your hole, just depending on where you mount it in your window. So I'm just going to color both sides. That way, if it does, we're good. And then over here, these are tiny little green spots, so I don't feel like I need to do blending. I'm just going to add the green. That's it for our green. Now let's do our fence and the dirt. So for this, I have the 100 dark crumb cake and 300. But again, you can use whatever colors you want, because we're just gonna make fence and dirt. So those are pretty easy to create. So start with your darkest. And on this one, I'm gonna use my brush. Just kind of give it some highlights of dark. And then I'm gonna go over here. Now you can see how the dirt kind of has these little, just little highlights or little mounds, you know, where she's been wallowing around, enjoying her favorite place. So she can stay there all day. So I'm just gonna add some highlights of this. And then we'll go back with the 300 and do the same thing. And then I have the dark crumb cake. And on this, I'm gonna kind of use it for blending. So the bullet tip works better to blend. And again, I just want the fence to look like it has aged, or if you don't have lots of browns, just use the one, because it most certainly does not need it. Now, this is going to show the other side through the window, but it will just be when the card's open, and it won't really matter. So I'm just gonna do crumb cake on the back. You can do whichever of the browns you want on the back. And it's just so when the card's open and you see it, and I'll show you at the end what I mean when we put it all together. So there's that. And then first over here, I'm just gonna fill kind of all this in. I am not going to go right to the circle, because I want to leave that illusion that there is a circle framing our little girl. Our little spa girl. And then I also don't want these to be super obvious, so I just took my bullet tip then and just kind of swirled that through there. It's dirt, guys. Don't don't spend tons of time on your dirt, because there she is, and she's in dirt, and it took what the artist had, and you could do it in darker. In fact, you could go back and you could even add some of these darker like this. It's just pulling down what the artist did. And if you did it in black, it would match that. But I want her to be the focal point. So there's our browns. Then, like I said, I just went with the colors of, smooth things off as we finish them, the colors of the dots. So here I have Orchid, which is one of our new in colors, dark and light. So I'm going to go up here and do one of my little banners. I think I did dark on my other one, but it doesn't matter. And then just do a purple flower. So that's the light. And then I have the dark. And you don't have to do this if you want, but when I was done, I thought, oh, there's this, when you cut it, it has little embossing things. And mine are not on them because it's too hard to see right now. It's raining out, or not raining. There's a fog warning, and it's not a pretty day out. So let's go now to our yellows. Now, let's make our butterfly purple as well. So for the yellow, I took the bullet tip and I just made the centers of these 3 flowers yellow. And then I took, this is the darker, I think it's mango. I just added a little bit of dark. And then just fill the rest of it in. There wasn't a lot of yellow on my card, and I really pulled it in because there is a yellow center, or yellow classic matte dot. Then I have, excuse me, Melon Mambo. This one has little dots, and on my other card, I did them all in different colors, but I'm filming. I'm not going to do that now. You can most certainly take more time. And on my other one, they're right on top of those. These are little squares, and then this one's stripes. Now I have Pool Party, I think dark and light. Yep. So I'm going to do my sky. I'm going to do my tag, and I'm going to do one more flower. So let's do this in the dark. And then I'm just going to go kind of around her to start with the dark. And then let's get the light. And again, you don't want to go all the way to the edge because I like having that little bit of a border. So you want to be careful when you're coloring with the brush tip of your blends and you're doing these big areas that you don't smash it, because it's easy to smash it because it's very brushy. So just kind of go around. And the nice thing about the blends is the more you go, it obviously blends out these marks of the brush. Even right there where I've got the dark and I'm now using the light, you can kind of make that fade away. I'll just get up close to her. Then I have a little bit of light flamingo, which isn't a color. I just wanted another pink. She's a pig. So I'm going to do that. And the light flamingo isn't quite as orange as the true flamingo. And then let's go to the, I use light and dark. Kind of give this a little bit of a tie-dye effect because she's fancy. So we have that. And then I'm just still going to use the light again, but I'm just going to kind of go over part of it. So let's get that happy. And where that goes over, then it's darker than the other, which adds the fun tie-dye effect. And then now I'm going to go to the darker blue. Just kind of add a little bit of that. So that's super easy, and easy, it gives a really fun effect. And again, white paper. So it doesn't, you don't have to have all the colors of cardstock if you have plenty of blends. Now let's do our Pig. So for her, I have Petal Pink in Dark and Light. So this is really the only time we're using blends the way that they're intended. Well, not so much intended, but to color into blends. I'm going to start with the dark Petal Pink around the edge. My cat's playing with her toy, the baby kitten. She has a squeaky one. Can you hear it? Maybe it doesn't come in the camera. I'm quite done with that, so I'll leave that on and then do the light. I'm going to leave that center section with some white so it has a little bit of a highlight. So Petal Pink and Soft Suede tend to be the Stampin' Up! Colors of the moment, and they're in everything. So I have not used my Petal Pink blend nearly as much in the past as I have the last few months. And the same with the cardstock. Both of those colors, I just keep buying and buying and buying. And if you do my class, you're like, oh, there's those colors again. So just kind of give her some coloring. Super easy to do. Now we just have to stick all of this together. So remember, we have the false front, and then we have this. So with this, it does help if you get either put this through your scoring blade on your paper trimmer or press it flat. That will help this. So I'm just going to take some sealed, and this is just like doing a puzzle. Just put this right back in the middle. Just make sure she's straight, and literally then just open this up. And there, she's perfect placement. Right where we want her to be. Now and see, now it's not blood. I should have showed you what it looked like on the back. Look, see that, this back here? That's what we didn't want to be back here. But you have this because otherwise it might just end up in the trash pile, and we don't want that. Now let's put this together. I'm going to use the fine tip glue just because it's a little bit faster. And that will ensure that nothing gets on that side to glue our card together. So start with your wagon that is now a fence because, you know. So I'm going to put a tiny bit down here at the bottom and then just kind of over here on the edges because I don't want any of it to go through the window. So I have that there. And then your grass can cover up the bottom of that. And this should go, it goes almost the whole way across your card. And then we have our banner. And again, I was gonna do the top so the string looked a color, but the white looks okay. Again, this is a fun one. Oh, and I should have colored the other sides of those. We'll go back and do that. Because see, now when you open the card, those aren't awful. They kind of match the faded of that. But this is why it's important to know that if that goes through your card, you don't want to see that. Then let's just add, we have the 3 flowers. Let's stick one there. Stick one over here. I do like some of it to go in the window because you took the time to make a window, so you might as well take advantage of it. And then for our little bird, I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of glue right here. And put her on the fence. And then we release. Now my big tip for you when you use the fine tip glue is we need it to set. So I always grab my big block. This way if anything moves, you'd see it, but it just needs a second to set. Then I was torn on what color of ribbon because we have so many pretty colors of ink on here, but I wanted pink, right? She's a pig. So we didn't use this color at all on the card, but it's just another pink, and it is the sorbet ribbon. It's still on my ribbon rack, so that's a good. We'll just wrap that around. And this just takes literally a second. That's why I'm still talking to you. I don't want you to think a time has elapsed because sometimes I do fast forward things. You know, you don't have to watch everything, but that's it. Now look, everything is perfectly stuck. It still needs time to dry all the way, but that is a great way to get that on there. Now to put this on, put my ribbon right here. I wanted ribbon on it, but there's already a lot going on, and I most certainly didn't want to detract from the window and all of that. So this was a happy medium. And let's pop this up. So we have just a tiny bit of ribbon and keep it kind of straight. Pop this on here. And then flip this over. Just give it a tiny bit of the Seal Plus, and that will hold it easily. It's also sticking my fingers to it. Ugh. And let's put our front on here. Now when you do this, just kind of line up this one side so it's flush to the card, and then just let it drop. Look, is it not adorable? She needs a little bit more adhesive here. You know, when I pulled her back up to show you her other side. Now let's go to our glossy dots, since that's the whole reason, and I have put every last blend on top of them, that I went with these colors. So you can see that there's the colors that we used, and I just went with the tiny ones inside their matching flower. So blue, pink, and purple. And really it doesn't have to be the right Stampin' Up! Color that matches this, because this is not orchid. I just went literally with real colors. And then we have the yellow, and I don't normally do 4, but here's the 3, and there's a lot going on up here, so I just add a little bit of sunshine. Let's do it here. That way we got them all on and pulled the color in, even though I didn't do a flower for it. So unless you color hugely different, they're all gonna end up looking about the same. And she's just happy. Look how happy she is. And I like that you can see it on this side. This one I did color them more on the back. But there you go. So starting September 1st, you can get all of the dies that coordinate with these. They are while supplies last. So if you go to my website, I have all of them on there so you can see them. If you buy the bundle, it will be 10% off. If you've already bought one of the stamp sets, like you already have the pigs, you can just then buy the dies. And then the information for my retreats on there as well. So everybody have a great day, and I will catch you back here. This is the last thing that I'm filming before I go. They may not post an order though. So when I get back, be watching for a club for September's preview. Have a great one. Bye.